Hello everybody, welcome back to vlog 3 and what will be 10 days until the British Hill Climb Championships. We've had a pretty busy last 2 days. Yesterday Cycling Weekly came down with a photographer and they took some photos of my indoor setup because they're doing some articles at the minute around myself training for hill climbs and training indoors and how I balance the two and how I utilise indoor training to prepare for hill climbs. And it's been really interesting chatting on the phone and going through some articles and some training sessions and some general advice. And I think the indoor training really supplements it because obviously the argument is you can just bury yourself and you don't have to, necessarily focus on certain things. Although if you're going uphill, I would say doing hill reps is a fairly safe way to train, unless it's a really narrow road. And there are actually quite a lot of narrow roads around here. But I enjoy it and it does give me a lot of benefit. And I know lots of you enjoy indoor training as well. In fact, probably the vast majority of people I coach, 90% of the time, they spend riding indoors. I don't think that was the case, over 10 years ago. So it's all fun and games now, people are able to spend a lot more time training indoors than they used to. And I think it has been a game changer for a lot of people in the sense that it allows them to, increase their training volume, training intensity, their frequency as well of sessions, because it's just easier to access, right? So I think it's been a great part to everybody's cycling lifestyle. But we also did a photo shoot outdoors and there was a bit of a river running down the road, but there was some fantastic shots there. Once I get them, hopefully I'll get them, I'll be able to share them because they were really nice. And it's not often that we get to hang out with somebody with a proper camera. But yeah, it was good. And last night I did the Zwift World Series race, the one I was telling you about in yesterday's video. And that was intense. We hit the grade. So if any of you have raced on Zwift and you've ridden up the grade, it's essentially like a nearly 4-kilometer climb at 10%. I think it took us like 9 minutes and we were absolutely like flying at the bottom. I think I was doing 440 watts for 3 minutes. And then like the race just really just blew apart on that climb. And I was in around about 10th position, 11th, 12th position. I just lost the front group over the top of that climb. And they pushed on and they stayed away. And I think I came in 12th place, but it was a huge effort. I averaged 320 watts. My normalized power was, I think, 343 watts for an hour and 4 minutes, I think. But yeah, I did 409 watts for 9 minutes up the grade. And like when you consider the whole like climb, and then the section before it and the section after it. Like I spent a lot of time riding at threshold in the 10k afterwards. And it was just like such a fast, hard race. And I got a lot out of it. I'm quite tired today. And I've just been for a gentle ride with Bryn this morning and we did some gravel. Some safe gravel. I didn't take any risks because I know some of you have been saying about like, don't crash, don't do anything silly, the last 10 days and such. So we did some fairly tame gravel. It was quite muddy outside and we just went for a bit of a ride. Cafe stop at the end. Bryn went off to do a bit more and I came in and I took a coach session at midday that I've just finished. But yeah, like yesterday was quite a tough day riding wise. And to be honest, it does actually, those type of efforts, like me turning myself inside out for, I guess, anywhere between 1 and 10 minutes on Zwift in these Zwift races has benefited me with my hill climbing. And we've seen a little progression throughout the last couple of weeks. I've done certain hill climbs where I've hit new power PBs, I've hit a new 2-minute power PB. I've come very close to a 1-minute power PB, all time, record. And bearing in mind, like I've been, changing power meters over the last 15 years. I haven't been using the same power meter, but it's nice that I'm still seeing some kind of consistency or some improvement somewhere. You know, it's always going to be like quite small improvements when you've been riding that long. But it is nice to see that it's you know, things are hitting a peak and are quite high up there with some of my best ever effort. So all's well. I think this weekend I'm just going to ride with a local group ride. I'm going to go out for a spin and just do some conversational pace. Zone 1, zone 2, maybe a couple of short 30-second efforts to keep myself ticking over. Although, you know, with yesterday and today in my legs, I don't think I really need to do anything too strenuous. So I'll wake up tomorrow and see how I feel. But it'll probably end up being about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And then Sunday, maybe I'll be fresh enough to do 1 or 2 efforts, but I'll keep them very specific, because obviously the closer you get to an event like this, but any event really, you know, the more specific you want your training to be. And it is about a balance, about being fresh and being sharp and feeling good. And like I said, day by day, I just want to be feeling good every day. And actually, I usually get up really early in the morning, like, well, early for me, like 5 a.m, 5:30, so I can get a lot of like my coaching work, emails and stuff done before I start to think about like doing my own training, or, you know, doing a YouTube video and editing that and uploading that, and then, you know, thinking about things I want to do in the future, doing some planning and brainstorming. All of that I try to schedule around a time of day where I feel the most productive, and then I can ride my bike and I can train. And the last week though, I've been getting nearly 9 hours of sleep a night, so I've been sort of trying to make the most of my sleep. And I know that sleep is one of those things that, you know, I guess falls by the wayside for a lot of us, because it's one of the things that we can very easily put a time cap on. You know, you can set your alarm for 5 a.m. and, well, maybe set 6 alarms for 5 a.m. and eventually you'll get up and you can start working or doing whatever it is you want to do, or even riding your bike. I know, you know, lots of us who work full-time jobs will ride our bikes before work, of course, so it might be for that. But I've been really prioritizing the sleep, and so I've been, you know, going to bed around 10:30 and waking up at 7, as opposed to waking up at 5. So it's been a bit of a balance, you know, the last couple of, or the last week. But sleep is something that I definitely try to keep as clean as possible, you know, because I know how much of a difference it makes. So, and it has been making a difference. So there we are. That's it for this update. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned tomorrow for the next update. I'll catch you then.